I would like to advise everyone that we're live coverage sa Cyber TV, and I believe the legislature Facebook. So again, thank you for coming this morning. On behalf of the Standing Committee on Executive Appointment and Government Investigation, we'd like to welcome Governor Torres' representative, Mr. Richard Valares, accompanied by Amy Shai, the appointee, Ms. Geraldine C. De La Cruz, elected officials, dignitaries, and members of the general public. Before we proceed forward with this public hearing, let me first introduce the members of this standing committee. To my right side of the aisle is the floor leader of the Senate, Senator Vinny Sablan from the 3rd Senatorial District. And next to him is Senator Carl King Neighbors from the 2nd Senatorial District. And I'm the chairman of this committee, Senator Francisco Q. Cruz from the 2nd Senatorial District. I would also like to announce a couple of things in the interest of informational purposes regarding code of conducts during this public hearing. Today, the members of this committee are conducting a public hearing on the reappointment of Ms. Geraldine C. De La Cruz to serve as a member of the Sinamay Scholarship Board of Directors to represent the island of Saipan, and as well as the entire Sinamay. The public will be invited to make comments as to whether you support or oppose the appointee before us this morning. We value their input. However, any comments beyond the facts of the appointee or comments that are not directly related with this public hearing will not be entertained, and such comment will be removed from the record. At the same time, please observe minimal noises in disrupting this hearing process. Please turn your electronic to a silent mode. Thank you. Let us now begin. This public hearing is now in session. Today is October 19, 2022, at approximately 10:03 in the morning, here at the Senate Chamber, Capitol Hill, Saipan. This is a public hearing regarding the reappointment of Ms. Geraldine C. De La Cruz by Governor Ralph Delongre Torres to serve as a member of the Sinamay Scholarship Board of Directors to represent the island of Saipan. Pursuant to Public Law 18-40, Mr. Macaranas will be our clerk for this hearing. Mr. Ben Terlayo will be our Sergeant at Arms. Mr. Camacho will be in charge with the IT, and as well as Jonathan Diaz and Mr. Jobo Moody's will be our legal counsel and will all serve accordingly. At this time, we'd like to ask Mr. Macaranas to please call the roll.
Senator Francisco Q. Cruz.
Here.
Senator Victor B. Hokuk. Senator Carl R. King Neighbors. Senator Justo Esquitagua. Senator Vinny F. Sablan. Mr. Chairman, 3 members are present, 2 members are absent.
Thank you, Mr. Macaranas. With 3 members present, we have the necessary number to proceed with this public hearing. However, Senator Hokuk and the Vice President of the Senate, Senator Kiruga, are both excused for this hearing. At this time, do we hear a motion to adopt our agenda?
Offer a motion for the adoption of today's agenda.
Any second? Thank you. There's a motion for the adoption of our today's public hearing agenda. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. At this time, I'd like to ask Sergeant Arm, please escort the appointee and as well as the governor's rep into the chamber. And before you give the introduction to the committee on the governor's appointee, please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Buenas Hafaday, and good morning, Chairman Cruz and the honorable members of this committee. For the record, my name is Richard Baliaris, representative for the Office of the Governor. On behalf of Governor Ralph D.L.G. Torres, I thank you for the opportunity to come and testify before you today. I am here to introduce the governor's nominee for the CNMI Scholarship Board, Ms. Geraldine C. De La Cruz. Ms. De La Cruz is a respected professional with over 16 years of experience. Her career started as a property coordinator and assistant property manager for PM Realty Group from 2006 to 2007, and assistant property manager in 2007 for Collier Monroe Freeman Management Incorporated in Honolulu, Hawaii, before being promoted to property manager in 2008, where she served that position until 2011. She then moved back to the CNMI as a planning and real estate specialist for the CNMI Department of Public Works Technical Services Division from 2011 to 2015, before becoming the highway administrator from February 2015 to October 2015. At the same time, she was also the director of the CNMI Division of Coastal Resources Management Board from 2013 to 2015. She then served as the senior director for the Imperial Pacific International Corporate Social Responsibility from 2015 to 2020, before becoming the zoning administrator for the Commonwealth Zoning Board in 2020, where she still serves that position in the present. Ms. De La Cruz is also currently the chairperson of the CNMI Scholarship Board, serving since 2015, and the vice president of the Lady Diane Torres Foundation since 2015. Ms. De La Cruz received her education from Chaminade University of Hawaii, with a Bachelor of Science in Biology in 2014, and is also a licensed real estate agent for the state of Hawaii in 2007, and is part of the Pacific Century Fellows class of 2014. Governor Torres places his full trust and confidence in Ms. De La Cruz to continue to serve on the CNMI Scholarship Board. I know she stands ready to answer your questions and present her plans for the future. Her long history of professional experience, credentials, and commitment to serving the Commonwealth in this capacity makes her a viable candidate, and we kindly ask for your expeditious approval. Thank you, Sizus Masi Zingiliso, for the opportunity to introduce her to this august body. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Mr. Balaris. At this time, I'd like to ask the appointed to please arise and raise your right hand so that the clerk can administer the oath.
Ms. Geraldine C. De La Cruz, you do solemnly swear under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you shall give in the matter at hand shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, clerk. Good morning again, Ms. De La Cruz. This is your reappointment by the administration, and I know that you comply with all the required documents by this committee. But if you have anything else to share with this committee, you have the floor. But please state your name for the record before you start. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning again, Chairman and members of this committee. My name is Geraldine De La Cruz, and I'm here before this august body once again as an appointee to the CNMI Scholarship Board of Directors. I'd like to thank Governor Torres for his continued confidence in me and for the reappointment back into this board. The story remains the same. The CNMI Scholarship Program is vital to our students' success in attaining higher education. We have seen so many of our people avail of this program. The financial assistance extended to our students aids in the high cost of getting a degree in higher education. The program regulations not only ensures that CNMI residents pursuing a college degree or a vocational trade may qualify for financial assistance, but also challenges our students to perform at certain levels to continue. I, along with many others, including current board members, have benefited from this program and are now a part of the CNMI's workforce. Many of our scholarship recipients choose different paths after they graduate from college. Some go on to graduate school, some return home, while others choose to work abroad. Although it would be ideal for each graduate to return home and join our workforce, it is reassuring to know that when they do decide to return to the CNMI, they return with education and invaluable work experience. Our strong island culture, one that is deeply rooted in many of us, brings most of us home. With this, we return equipped with education, skills, and experience. Mr. Chairman and members, this is my story, and the story of countless others who call our islands home. I returned to the CNMI in 2011 after earning my degree and gaining experience in the corporate world. That was 11 years ago. As a young professional entering the CNMI's workforce at that time, I was unsure whether moving home was the right idea. I entered the government at a time where we only worked 64 hours a pay period. At first, I thought it was pretty cool. I had 3-day weekends every week. But then reality hit, and the struggle started to surface. I could have easily packed up and left, and go back to Hawaii, since my bosses always said they had a place for me if I decided to return. But this is home. And if I wanted my home to be better, I needed to do my part to pitch in any way that I could. There have been so many countless opportunities in our islands for our people to pitch in and give back. For me, one of the opportunities was serving as a chairwoman of this board for the past 7 years, alongside the phenomenal members, both past and present. Since the inception of the board in 2015, we have approved various financial assistance programs that are now available to not only high school graduates, but also high school students that are duly enrolled at Northern Marianas College. We've created financial aid programs for those choosing a path in vocational trades. We have created a program where full-time employees can get assistance if they choose to go to college while working, just to name a few. This is only possible with the support of the administration and the legislature. We have also encountered challenging times where these financial programs were suspended and only a small amount could be given to students. This was really tough as we watch our student enrollment decline across the nation. With the support of the administration and the legislature, we have been able to see this. We have seen these suspended programs lifted and students awarded the highest amounts in financial aid. Mr. Chairman and members, the CNMI Scholarship Board, the administrator, and her office team continue to work with the resources at hand to administer this program and deliver financial assistance to our students. We thank you for believing in higher education. With the financial assistance programs available through the CNMI Scholarship Office, this program is the government's investment for the future of the CNMI. With your approval, I remain committed to continuing my work with the CNMI Scholarship Board and the Program Office in ensuring that we attain greater returns on our investment and build our local workforce. Thank you, Nsizus Masi.
Thank you, Ms. De La Cruz. At this time, I'd like to recognize those entities that are invited to participate on this morning's public hearing. From the Office of Mayor David M. Apatang, Mayor of Saipan. Anyone from that office? No one? Let the record reflect that there's no one from that office. From the Saipan and Northern Island Municipal Council members or staff of that office? Anyone? No one? Let the record reflect that there's no one from that office. The administrator of the CNMI Scholarship Office, Ms. Mildred S. Camacho. Ma'am, you can come forward, and before you proceed, please state your name for the record. Thank you. Just come in.
Good morning, Chairman and members of this committee. My name is Mildred Sablan Camacho, and I am the administrator of the CNMI Scholarship Office. I am here before you to testify in support of Ms. Geraldine C. De La Cruz to serve on the CNMI Scholarship Board. Ms. De La Cruz has served on the Board of Directors for the CNMI Scholarship Board since 2015 as our chairwoman. She has contributed to the continued growth and improvement of our office and our programs. We had several programs implemented during her tenure, and we are continuously working together with the board to find ways to help our students and former recipients. She has demonstrated true leadership and commitment during her time on the board, and I am confident that she will continue to do the same if confirmed. Her leadership and commitment to higher education is a testimony of her desire to improve the quality of education and workforce for the CNMI. On behalf of the CNMI Scholarship Office, we pledge our support of Ms. Geraldine C. De La Cruz to serve on this board. Sizos Masi.
Mrs. Monsi, Administrator Camacho. Any member of the Cinema Scholarship Board is here to deliver testimony? Anyone? No other member of the Cinema Scholarship Board that is here? Can come forward and please state your name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Zerlin Taimanyao, and I am here to in support of Ms. Geraldine De La Cruz's reappointment to the CNMI Scholarship Board. I am a current member of the CNMI Scholarship Board and have had the opportunity and privilege to work alongside Geraldine. Through some of the most challenging times our economy has faced, most especially during COVID, she has proposed and made sound decisions regarding funding and programs for our students with their best interests at the forefront. She has supported programs such as WICHI, the Nursing School Scholarship, and incentives for our students, to name a few. She has a great working relationship with the scholarship administrator and staff and always encourages and supports their professional growth and advancement. Her 7 years as a board member, most especially as the chairwoman, it is evident of her commitment and dedication to our students and their education. It is assuring to work with an individual who wholeheartedly supports our students in their endeavors, whether it be in post-secondary or in the trades field. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Taimanyo. Any other board member? Okay, at this time, before I open the floor to the members of the general public that are here in the gallery to deliver testimony, whether you're in support or not in support, again, I would like to remind everyone that any comments that is raised that are not directly related with this public hearing, we will not entertain them. We will strike them from the record. So at this time, I would like to open the floor for the public to come forward and deliver testimony. The floor is now open for public comment. Anyone in the gallery? And before you begin, sir, please stay on for the record. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members. For the record, my name is Angel Aldondamapan, and I appear before you today as a citizen of the Northern Mariana Islands. During the nominee's initial appointment to the Scholarship Board, I appeared before this body in support of her nomination. Today, I appear again before this August body to support her renomination to serve a second term on the Board of Directors for the Scholarship Office. And I'm not going to dwell on the long list of qualifications and professional background of the nominee because that has become common knowledge to this committee. It has also become common knowledge to our community, given the work that she has done as a member of the Scholarship Board and the work that she's done in her regular job and in her active involvement in civic organizations in the Northern Marianas. The contributions of the nominee to the CNMI is immense, and we can ask for no better nominee to serve again on the board of directors of the scholarship office. We have heard her story of a young student of the Marianas going off to achieve her goals and accomplishments and to come back and give back to this community. I have a long history of a personal relationship to the nominee. At her urging, I also went to school in Hawaii. I joined her in Hawaii, and we were able to share that part of our history together in our educational journey. And we've also shared a big part of her history, of her professional history here in the Northern Marianas when she returned home to take on her first government job with the government under Public Works, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Everyone here in this committee, everyone in the gallery behind me, and most of the people of the Commonwealth know the capability and the capacity of Ms. De La Cruz, and her nomination comes with not just my support, but a host of support from the community, especially the recipients of the scholarship program. We have seen the scholarship office advance tremendously over the past years. There are programs available to students today where, had it been available years ago, I would have probably never left the CNMI and be able to obtain the educational goals that we have available today without having to leave the islands. A lot of these things come at the work of hardworking professionals, professionals committed to the advancement of the Commonwealth. And one of them is sitting right before this committee, seeking your favorable consideration. I can ask nothing more but to respectfully seek your favorable consideration to once again confirm the nomination of Ms. Geraldine De La Cruz to the CNMI Scholarship Board of Directors. Continuity is key to the success of any organization. And before us today, we have the biggest opportunity to preserve continuity, to build upon the progress, and to expand opportunities for our students. With that said, Mr. Chairman and members, I humbly ask for your favorable consideration. Sizus Masi.
Thank you, Congressman Limapan, for participating in this very important public hearing for the interest of our student. Any other member of the members of the community in the gallery?
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of this committee. For the record, my name is Chris A. Conception. I'm here in my personal capacity as a citizen of the Commonwealth. I have submitted written comments, Mr. Chairman, via email, but I'd like to read them into the record today. I'm here in support of the nomination of Ms. Geraldine Cabrera De La Cruz to serve on the CNMI Scholarship Board. I've known Ms. De La Cruz for over 25 years, both personally and professionally, and can attest to her competence and suitability to serve on this important board. Her extensive background in both the private and public sectors, coupled with her educational and professional credentials, make her an excellent candidate for this board. She most recently served as board chair, so her confirmation is vital for the board to continue the work of forming and developing policies and regulations that ultimately affect our future leaders. The CNMI Scholarship Office plays a critical role in shaping our forthcoming workforce. They fund the collegiate needs of future leaders of the Commonwealth. As we continue to recover from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, we need intelligent professionals with strong problem-solving skills to assist in our economic recovery. I'm confident that Ms. De La Cruz can continue to contribute her knowledge and experience in furthering the mission of the CNMI Scholarship Board. I strongly recommend the approval of her nomination to serve on the CNMI Scholarship Board as quickly as possible. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nothing further.
Thank you, Mr. Conception. Still open for public comment? Anyone in the gallery? Family members can also come up and deliver testimony. You're not in conflict in sharing your thoughts in regards to the appointee. Once we close public comment, we will not go back to public comment. So this is the opportunity if anyone else interested. If no one else, at this time, I'd like to ask the Mr. Macronas to please recognize those letters. Let us admit it.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Senate EAGI Committee, Ms. Dela Cruz, and members of the general public, in addition to the oral testimonies received today on the executive appointment of Ms. Geraldine C. Dela Cruz to continue serving as a member on the Senior My Scholarship Board of Directors, please be advised of one additional written testimony officially received in support of the appointee from Christopher Atta Conception, personal testimony. At this time, no written testimony in opposition to the appointment of the appointee has been received by the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Macronas. At this time, I'd like to recognize the members of this committee to raise question in regards to the reappointment of Ms. Geraldine De La Cruz. At this time, I'd like to give the honor to the floor leader of the Senate, Senator Vinny Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning to all who are present here in your Senate chamber, as well as to all that are viewing on our media outlets, Facebook and cable TV. Also, good morning to the CNMI Scholarship team, your leadership, board members, also to the family of the renominee, Mr. and Mrs. De La Cruz and family. Welcome to your chamber. Good morning, Mrs. De La Cruz. Thank you for being here and thank you for accepting your renomination to serve on the CNMI Scholarship Board. We've heard all your accolades and your successes in your personal life, from your educational journey leading into your professional capacity in the private sector and of course in the government sector. And I want to just give you the greatest appreciation for taking these additional roles in the scholarship board and all the other groups that you partake in on the side. I know that it's a lot to wear several caps, but I know that if there's a person that could come up and do the task, it's yourself. I have several questions in regards, and the first one is probably maybe in regards to applications and applicants. Have we seen a rise back in the number of applicants for awards after the halt due to the recent pandemic? Did we see, we did see a halt in applicants right from the pandemic, and have we seen a pattern of increase of applicants to date now?
Thank you for the question. Yes, that was something that the board and the scholarship office was monitoring, especially, when, the financial times was pretty tough and we had to cut the award amount. We did see a decline in student enrollment, which of course would be in applications. And one of the things that we wanted to see was when we were able to lift the suspended programs, whether or not we saw a rise in enrollment. And I guess coupled with all the other factors, we did see a rise in student enrollment across the nation after we were able to not only give the highest amounts in awards, but coming back from the pandemic and all the different assistance that's out there.
Good, thank you. I just wanted to ask that because it's very vital that we try to get those students in to apply as we link them to building our workforce for the future. My next question is, there is a Senate bill that is, I believe, in front or on the governor's desk, and it's a Senate bill introduced by our Senate President, Jude U. Hofschneider, and it's Senate Bill number 22-05. SS1. The title of this is to establish a behavioral health professional scholarship and for other purposes. Are you aware of this movement, and has the board and the leadership of the CNMI Scholarship, has this been on the table, and have you been in communication with the administration with how this would be laid out, and or have students been calling on this particular movement?
When the bill was introduced, the CNMI Scholarship Office and the board was asked to give comments on this particular legislation, and through the combined efforts of our scholarship administrator and the office and the board, we were able to submit comments in support of this. And as far as students calling regarding this particular legislation, I don't know because I haven't been called. I'm not sure if the office has been, but any type of additional legislation that would fund certain scholarships is good for us if there is adequate funding that is given for it.
Okay, thank you. Maybe just a note for the scholarship, the leadership of the CNMI scholarship to keep tabs on this. No, I believe it's on the governor's desk right now, so y'all maybe be called to meet with him or with the administration to before signed into law. So please share your thoughts with the administration and see how this program would be rolled out. And I'm sure you have a good amount of students or applicants that will avail of this program. So we're excited to see how this is rolled out and what benefits we can reap for our Commonwealth. My last question, Mrs. De La Cruz, is you've probably heard during the recent forums, and there's one tonight, the question of extending scholarship awards to those students ineligible to receive these awards, right? These are our residents that resident college students that call the CNMI their home, but they are unable to receive awards due to their status, right? They're non-U.S. citizens or non-green card holders. And the question is, what are your thoughts of extending scholarship awards to these ineligible applicants, not only those that have non-status, but I'm sure there are other students that or applicants that would like to begin their post-secondary education but do not satisfy that criteria to receive CNMI scholarship awards. I know funding will be the main driver in this, but how would the scholarship board and leadership roll out a program like this? It would be significant. I'm not sure what the number is with NMC on students that are enrolled that have non-status and are not eligible. But what are your thoughts on rolling out such a program?
Thank you for the question. So the CNMI Scholarship Office was created by statute, and in the law, there is a definition of who is eligible to receive CNMI scholarships, and it would be all residents of the CNMI. And a definition of a resident would be one that's a U.S. citizen and who is domiciled here and has 3 years of residency. So, in order for the CNMI scholarship to even administer any scholarship or assistance to individuals that are not U.S. citizens, that statute needs to be changed. So it has to begin, in these holes in order for that to happen. Do we support that? For me personally, absolutely. Absolutely. If these individuals call our islands home, we want them to be in our workforce. We should be able to contribute to their success in order for them to come back and serve our people. But then there is work that needs to be done, which would be, changing the law that created the CNMI Scholarship Office. To further the definition on how monies are dispersed, any money that is appropriated by the legislature, even any monies that's donated to the CNMI scholarship, have to abide by the definition of a resident of the CNMI.
Thank you for that. So just to maybe for a head start, I know the question has been asked already, and I do see that being on the table in both chambers in this coming legislature. So just a head start for the board and the leadership of the CNMI scholarship to anticipate that move and to kind of look into how these things will be rolled out once the books are open and the amendments are made to the CNMI scholarship language. So that's all I have for you, Mrs. De La Cruz. Again, thank you for accepting the renomination. We're lucky to have the working professionals that are in this board, and also want to give a great thanks to the scholarship team through their director Camacho and your team. We want to say thank you, and our doors are always open for any dialogue with the Senate. If there's any issues, concerns, or even if you have any ideas that you think of that would improve the programs of the scholarship, our doors are open, and you're welcome to see us. Okay, thank you. I yield my time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Now I would like to recognize Senator Carl King Neighbors.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, everyone. I would first like to thank everybody for taking the time to be here this morning. To all those who provided oral or written testimonies on behalf of the nominee, we appreciate it. And to you, Mrs. De La Cruz, thank you so much for accepting the renomination. I was very touched by your opening testimony. I feel as if so many of us now, as we've grown, share that experience where we've been afforded local scholarship, CNMI scholarship, have gone abroad, have taken the experiences, whether it be work or life experiences, and come back. And we are in a unique position here in the CNMI. We share the same issues with a lot of rural areas in America and other places where it's very difficult to find people who do take the opportunity to better themselves, whether it be through the work or through education, and still find their way back home to give back. I realize that in listening to your testimony that you have a unique insight, and it's paramount to the way I feel the CNMI scholarship program should be guided. There are so many competing interests in the world, and to find different ways to encourage our youth to come back and give back is very commendable. Again, I don't have any questions. I know that through your experience, not only pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, but post-COVID or in COVID, post you two, you'll take from those experiences and only contribute more to the scholarship program moving forward. So I thank you again for accepting the additional responsibilities on behalf of the people of Sinai. You're back here.
Thank you, Senator Neighbors. Any second round, Floor Leader? Good, thank you. And good morning again, Ms. De La Cruz. And I appreciate your commitment and devotion to accept again one more time in this capacity. I know that you're very committed to assist our student, and also working with the administrator. I appreciate that. Having good relationship with the administrator and the staff so that we can assist our students that are available to this program. How many recipients of the Commonwealth that we have right now?
The last number I received from the CNMI scholarship office was almost 700. It was about 680. About that. About 680 recipients.
Can I ask how many from Tinian?
Okay, I don't have that information from you for you, but if this is an information that you need, we can always provide you that after I confer with the scholarship office.
I just want to make sure that both Small Island are available to this program.
Yes, there are recipients from all from Rota, Tinian, and Saipan.
Okay. And now, what bothers me is this election law. that some students or some of our residents are abroad, and there's a challenge with provision on their rights to vote. And I know that's the policy for scholarship is you have to register as a cinema voter, right? So what bothers me is when those individuals are denied to vote. That means scholarship will not also assist them in granting them the qualification to be part of this program, right? Is there any way that perhaps maybe scholarship can collaborate with the election commission as to how, if there is a case with regards to students, because there's a law that you have to establish 120 days to be able or to be eligible to vote. So if you still have students that are attending or new students that are enrolled in college and receiving and they deny them, so I don't know how they're going to get once you find out that they're not eligible to vote here in the Commonwealth.
That's
So
definitely
maybe
something we can look into, but I don't really know the election laws relative to scholarship and in how why they were denied the right to vote. But one of the requirements to receive CNMI scholarship is you have to be a registered voter.
okay,
So
now you
as
have some
far
students that are being in the states in like they were there as a minor and their parents are registered voters of the CNMI, and you have some of those students that requested to for or apply for cinema scholarship. Do you have do you have those kind of cases that grew up in the mainland and they apply for cinema scholarship?
I believe that as long as the parents are registered to vote and if they're under 18, they can qualify.
Okay, so
Correct
so
me if I'm
so
wrong.
this,
Yeah.
so this is the case that I'm talking about, because some that I learned that are given a either denial or provisional letter in regards to those. So maybe perhaps the scholarship office can collaborate with the cinema election commission and see if this is not an issue to them. Otherwise, if we don't look into this, they might lose the opportunity to avail to the scholarship, because I know that in order for students to be able to qualify, they have to be a registered voter of the cinema. Is that correct?
Yes. So we will look into it and find out what the gaps are and definitely report back to you.
Yes. Maybe perhaps it's okay if you give us that information, so we'll be able to reply or to respond to those that are in case they call us and ask questions of to why they're not been denied from the election commission because of that because of not establishing a residency here in the Commonwealth. So again, I thank you, and I continue to ask for your cooperation whenever the members of the Senate call you and requested assistance from you. I ask that you respond to our request, and so that we can be able also to feel better that the people that we put into this kind of a position are the right people. So again, I thank you for your commitment and devotion to continue serving in this capacity, and I'm hoping that if you're given the blessing by this committee, you will continue to work with the other members of the scholarship board of directors and the administrator and staff, so we can continue to serve our students' needs in regards to financial assistance. Thank you. Any other member? Okay. Recognize Senator King.
Thank you, Chair.
Neighbors.
I also wanted to lastly just say thank you for your response to floor leader's question with regards to who can avail to scholarships, understanding that it's a statutory prohibition, right, that prevents us from allowing more people to be able to avail. I think that the reason why I say thank you is because one of the biggest impediments, hurdles that we have in the CNMI is human resource, right? And the more we can be inclusive, and for those who choose to call the scene of my home, I believe should be able to benefit from some of our services, because I do believe that they will be critical components to our future progress. So thank you again.
Thank you, Senator Neighbors. And one more thing. I know Cinema Scholarship needs, the more funding they need, the better for everyone, right? Are you guys aware that those that are working as an elected official that are retired are donating their salary to the scholarship? Are you guys receiving those?
Yes.
We want to make sure there's two here in the Senate that are donating to the scholarship.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, all public comments are well taken. Let the record reflect that there are also written testimonies submitted from individuals in support of the appointee before this committee and will be included in the Senate Standing Committee recommendation report, along with oral testimonies to be forwarded before the full Senate members in consideration for confirmation or rejection. At this time, before we adjourn, I would like to extend on behalf of the Standing Committee our sincere appreciation and gratitude to Governor Torres' representative, Mr. Richard Balaris, Amishai, the reappointee, Ms. Geraldine C. De La Cruz, and most especially the members of the general public for your participation and involvement during this important public hearing process. And we certainly hope that we continue this dialogue of communication between us, the elected officials, and the public to keep you abreast and informed of our current and future Senate hearings ahead that relate to public best interests. This concludes this public hearing for today. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Chairman and members, there being no objections, I'd like to offer a motion to adjourn today's EAGI public hearing, subject to the call of the chair.
There's a motion for adjournment and was seconded. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. This public hearing is adjourned. Jesus Monsik.